This guy's a pain in the ass.
Good evening.
Ever since the disaster class of the first season with Allegri, Dusan Vlahovic has just scored goal after goal after goal. Erik ten Hag has really gotten the best out of him, as not only was he the top scorer in Serie A this season with 42 freaking goals, but he won the FIFA Player of the Year to go along with his Ballon d'Or. Despite all of this, Juventus haven't been a dominant force in Italy, only winning the league once by a point. But this summer, it changed.
They are not the saints of football.
I experienced it firsthand as I was given 36.7 million to spend, and I thought my right center back spot could be upgraded. Gianluca Mancini was the guy, so I approached Roma with a transfer offer, like you usually do. Then suddenly, Tuttosport comes out leaking my transfer offer, which leads to Juventus bidding for him, and of course, he chooses them over me. That was the story of my transfer window. No matter who I was going after, something went wrong. Offering way too much for Tonali? Doesn't matter, he goes to Arsenal. Attempting for Pessina?
No.
Can't even get past the promises. Tomori being reasonably priced? He wanted too much money. Forgetting to sign Call on his option to buy? Looks like I'm spending more money than I should be. While I did bring this Rahimi kid in January, the only other transfer was Vincenzo Russo as Ricci's rotation. Of course, it was a loan with a forced option to buy.
To live the Italian way.
On the outs, it was only Lukic and Endur who left the club. Meanwhile, the other club in Turin went nuts. Matias Oliveira, Marcao, Moder, Cancelari, and Kjærgaard gave them depth. Then, they decided to fix their fullback problem with Mazraoui and Theo Hernandez. How did they manage that? While they did sell Chiesa in January, that didn't matter since they bought Patson Daka for 70 million to just play 7 matches. Belotti was no longer there, but that's besides the point. By the time we played Juventus in December, we were looking great. 13 matches undefeated. The only draws were Napoli and Milan away, plus Atalanta at home. Meanwhile, Juventus won every single game except for 2. With only 2 points separating us, this Derby della Mole had a lot at stake. The old lady had an early chance, which made me realize I forgot opposition instructions. 30 minutes later, Singo had a pathetic attempt at a strike. Not long after, Vlahovic gets into our box. Benzema decides to attempt to win the ball, which it looked like he did, but the referee points to the spot. I called corruption, which luckily the ref didn't hear. Vlahovic scores, and we got work to do. The second half started with some optimism as Pellegrini caused some danger. Then we had the Raspadori show. He usually misses one, but he's through again. Oh, what the hell was that? It's all good. He gets sent behind again. You can't be serious. You can't be serious. You can't be serious. Please score here. LOL. We're outplaying these frauds. All that's needed is for one to go in. A goal would be really nice here. You scored 4 goals in 9 minutes against them last season, and now you missed 5 chances in one half. So how was the Champions League? After winning the Europa League, the club got to play in the European Super Cup against Liverpool. We got to show our talents in Northern Ireland, where Pabega scored first, and Van Dijk, or in this case, Van Disney, scored in his own net. Didn't see that coming. Nevertheless, the Champions League placed us in pot 1, leading to Manchester United, Celtic, and Club Brugge. I think we could challenge United for top of the group. We'll deal with them later. Sarri's Manchester United had a darn good midfield and really dominated the first half. Chances kept coming for them, and despite this looking like a chance for ourselves, Reeder, who was out of this world last season, decided to use his weak foot to switch to play. Manchester United countered and scored. They'd get another one, and when something clearly doesn't work the first time, you change it up, which meant the 4-2-2. The reverse fixture came just a few weeks later, and Sarri decided to switch to the 4-3-3. Good. United didn't come to play as Brekalo scored in the 10th minute, Tommaso Pabega in the 34th, and finally to put the cherry on top, Pellegrini scored before halftime, stunning Manchester United and giving us life in this group. Bruges and Celtic were demolished in the following matches, but why couldn't we do that earlier? First place could have been ours. That didn't matter though, as Lyon would come later. A new rivalry was brewing up in Serie A. Us and Inter had some famous battles over the years, involving league title races and Coppa Italias. The game recognized that. In our first encounter with them this season, I decided to get into Diego Simeone's head. He was talking some smack, so I decided to appear for a press conference for once, called him and his club Tin Pot, which led to newspapers running with this headline. The match itself? Well, I got into Diego Simeone's head as we scored 3 times in the first half, which included a Pabega brace. The man was on fire at this point of the season, scoring more goals than my strikers, and he was keeping up with the top scorers in the league. That would eventually trail off, but he still had 18 in all competitions. After the obliteration of Inter and breaking Simeone, he's actually kind of hurt by all of this. The second encounter was in the Coppa Italia quarterfinal, and despite Diego saying this was no grudge match, it certainly was a battle. I like to believe a win was deserved, but it went to extra time. Nothing happened, so penalties it was.
Oh.
hospital traveling.
Inter got us here. Thankfully for us, they'd get defeated 3-0 again thanks to an Alessio Rosa brace. But that didn't matter because this Serie A season was a joke. Juventus wouldn't stop winning. We were falling behind because draws happen and eventually a couple losses. But we actually had our best season in the save. The usual guys stepped up, like Pellegrini as our top scorer, Buongiorno continuing to defend well, Singo just being awesome, along with his fullback partner Udoge, who in some attributes is actually better than him. However, the one player who stepped up the most was Botan Balog, who was bought from Parma for just 1.7 million last season. This guy stepped up massively and displaced Zima as our starting right center back. 88 points was our final tally. In all 4 of our previous seasons, I'd be celebrating a Serie A title, but no! Juventus decided to completely outperform their expected goals conceded, as well as their expected points, and become invincibles. If only Raspadori didn't miss all those chances. They did make the Coppa Italia final too, where Inter won on pens, and they also made the Champions League semi-final. Speaking of that, Lyon were around his 16 opponents, and a 27th minute goal from Pellegrini gave us the lead. Less than 10 minutes later, Hattabor decided he was a WWE wrestler and gave Rieder a drop kick to his ankles and was sent off. That made the rest of the match easy with a 4-0 aggregate lead heading into the second leg. We did lose that match, but it was only 1-0 with me completely rotating my side. The quarterfinals handed us a rematch with Manchester United. They didn't do too well in the Premier League, but it'd be tough. Away from home in the first leg, I decided against a 4-2-2. I don't know if the formation would make a difference for the first goal, but it was a stunning strike by Pellegrini. United's only onside highlight was an awful strike by Rashford. That was basically it, and we won 1-0. Sorry, blamed VAR. I told him he was wrong, and he told me to shut it. Alright then, despite the man reverting to the system that defeated us earlier in the campaign, my keeper getting injured right before the match, and Osimhen scoring in the 16th minute, I wasn't worried. After fixing the set pieces, we decided to wake up with Josep Brekalo scoring a header to get back our advantage. In the 40th minute, Pellegrini received a brilliant pass from Richie to extend the lead, and just after the halftime break, Pabega would pot one in as well. Osimhen may have scored a lucky goal, but that didn't matter as not only did Brekalo score another, but so did Pabega as we moved on to the Champions League semi-final. But can we overcome Arsenal? Knocked out by them in the Europa League in penalties a few seasons back? No! With less man-to-man marking going on this time around, we were the better side. Although, no goals. Saka did get in behind at the brink of the first half, but Udoge came out of nowhere to save a goal. With the second leg coming up, I was feeling confident, especially with Urjan back. If we fast forward well into the first half with the score tied 0-0, alright, Singo's dribbling the bar. What the hell was that? Ref, you gotta send him off! Tierney's off, let's go! Yet, as we were well into the second half, the score remained the same, but the man advantage soon paid off. He throws it into Raspadori finds Singo gets to Raspadori looks to cross, he finds Mandragora, off the post! Pellegrini! Yes! Arsenal provided nothing, and as time was winding down, we sealed the deal with Frattesi, making Arsenal fans on Twitter delete their tweets when the draw was made. A Champions League final in our 5th season, and it'd be either PSG or Juventus. Well, PSG then gave them a first leg defeat so bad that it nearly sent Juve back to Serie B. They then confirmed their place in the final with another win. Wait. At the Santiago Bernabeu, Torino would enter their first Champions League final. It wouldn't be easy, as the trophy has been chased by PSG for over a decade. They had a great backline and an impressive midfield, but Neymar no longer had his pace, and pace on the attacking wings was lackluster, as the other option was Otavio. They also finished second in Ligue 1. This was the 11 of my choosing, and so, it was down to this. All the anticipation, all the adrenaline running through. Who would step up and be the hero? Alright, hi, looks like we're countering Raspadori. Otavio tackles Raspadori, referee's coming up to him. It's a red card! He's off! PSG are down to 10 men for the rest of the game. Oh boy, this is a big opportunity. Even with a man advantage, we couldn't score. Several chances came and went, including an offside goal in the 87th minute. Pellegrini was surprisingly having a poor game, so I brought on Alessio Rosa. I had hopes for this guy years ago, but despite several loans, he didn't really develop. However, he did perform well for us whenever he stepped on the pitch, and with extra time approaching, a chance arrived in the 93rd minute. Kipembe gives it straight back to us. Frattesi finds Singo, he finds Frattesi passes it across. Let's go! Yes! Rosa! He has done it! What a substitution! Substitute Frattesi to Rosa. Scores in the 93rd minute. We have taken the lead over PSG. And the referee blows the whistle. We have won the Champions League. Let's go! Despite in 5 seasons having a net spend of the price of Erling Haaland, we actually did it. The incredible feeling was capped off by Belotti saying that I was a bona fide legend, which means... Damn it!